Field of Ives. Can I stand on the desk near you? I'll die.
You can do
Little song and dance.
Michelle Obama from last night. Just think of that.
Ah. Good morning, everybody. My name is Ken Monaco. I'm from Bryanton Stratton College.
Hi, Ken.
Hi, how are you? I was happy to be here. Everybody have their coffee all energized?
Yeah.
All right. What we're going to do today is we're going to talk a little bit about interviewing skills. The reason why I do this is because right now as seniors, you're getting out there doing jobs. Some colleges do personal interviews. We do interviews. Anybody who starts with our college has to go through a personal interview. So my attempt, I'm going to cover this on a more professional basis, but you could use the key components, whether you're going to a college interview, whether you're going to interview at Tim Hortons, or whether you're going to go on a professional interview. So I want to get you started on that. Then we're going to talk a little bit about what we have to offer and go from there. All right, so my first question to you is, who could tell me, when does the interview process start? Yes?
When you walk through the door,
Why do you say that?
if people are attending, you're asking who was sitting there prior to the interview.
Okay, so people are looking at you the minute you walk in the door. Since you're the first one to answer, I'll give you one of these. All right, so the minute you're walking in the door, so ever hear the saying, first impressions count? You never get a second chance to make a first impression? It is so true, so true. It happens even in professional life and your personal life. Ladies, who in here has a boyfriend? Did your parents meet him? Do they like him? No? So you probably made a bad impression on him. Guys, who has a girlfriend in here? Did you meet her parents?
No, I don't want to meet her parents.
I don't blame you. My daughter, the first time she brought home this thing, we affectionately call him Weasel Boy, he made a very bad impression on us. He will never get a second chance to make a first impression. I don't like him. I don't care if he won the lottery and gave me $3 million. I still won't like him. Okay? He has no good qualities. So that first impression counts so much. All right, can the interview process start even before then?
Yes.
When?
When you schedule it.
When you schedule it. So the phone call. All right? How many of you have a cell phone in here? Okay, how many if I called you and got your voicemail, because all your phones are off, right? How many of you would I get either, for your voicemail, would I get either a funny message or a song blaring in my ear?
Oh, yeah,
Songs? Okay. If I call you up.
Rap song.
Rap song? Oh, no, I don't even want to know who the artist is. Okay, if I call you up and I get AC/DC blaring in my ear, and if you don't know who AC/DC is, go on YouTube and check them out, I'm hanging up. If I get some Justin Bieber, I can't stand Justin Bieber, so I'm hanging them up even faster. If I get some rapper telling me how he's going to shoot up the town that scares me, I'm going to hang up fast. So if you have a joke, one of those funny messages or music, change it while you're looking for a job. Make it something professional. Hi, this is so-and-so. Please leave your name and message. I'll be happy to get back with you. Okay, I called up a guy once and his message was, yo, dog. I'm like, dog? I'm not a dog. Must have called the wrong person. Click. All right, so make it professional. All right, so can the interview process start even before that?
Your resume?
Your resume, thank you, your resume. Or an application. If you go into a store, people are watching you, just like you said. How you walk, talk, act. One of my buddies used to be a store manager. He hated interviewing a lot of people, so he told his people, front-end people, look for somebody good, somebody who's sharp. And after they're done, if you think they're sharp, give me a call. He would come up, look at the application real fast, see if you filled it out properly, if you wrote neatly, or does it look like you put the pen in your mouth and try to write. If he liked you, he would take you into the back with one of his other managers and interview you. If he liked you, they'd offer you the job on the spot. So be ready to interview. His feeling was, I have somebody good in front of me. Why would I interview a ton of people when I have somebody good? So be ready. The resume, how many of you have a resume in here? Very good. A lot of high school students don't usually have resumes. My daughters had resumes from the moment they were in 10th grade. I can't tell you how many interviews they went on, showed the resume, handed the resume, and the people were so impressed as, 11th and 12th grader having a resume. It looks good. It looks good to have it. So get one together. We also do workshops on that, so if they're interested. Be ready. Think of it. That's 2 pieces of paper that tell me who you are, the resume and cover letter. I cannot see you. I can't judge you. It's 2 pieces of paper. That tells me who you are. I'm sorry, did you have...
I lost my pen.
Oh, do you need another one? I have one if you're taking notes.
I'm okay now.
All right.
At least he brought it this time. Usually he doesn't bring it to class. He always forgets.
Either do I.
You do this every time we get a guest speaker.
That's all right. Maybe he'll pick something up. All right. So, 2 pieces of paper that tells me who you are. I cannot see you, so those 2 pieces of paper better be good. All right, the phone call. Like you said, the next step is the phone call. So, if you have caller ID and you see it's a company that you've sent a resume to, shut off. If your music's playing, shut it off. You could go without hearing music for a few minutes. If you're sitting down, stand up. Your voice projects better while you're standing up. If you can't stand up, if you're in a car, please don't open the sunroof and stand outside and talk. Sit up straight. Again, your voice projects a lot better. Okay? All right. So we said first impressions. Count. If, say, I had a suit jacket on, would I be professionally dressed for a professional interview? Yes? Anybody say no? I'm really not. Okay? First of all, the interview colors are blue, black, and gray. Do not deviate from that. The shirt, I'd wear a white or an off-white shirt. Okay? Even though he's looking pretty dapper here, I'd wear, a white shirt.
I sweat a lot. I can't wear white.
Huh? Do you? Wear a T-shirt. Keeps the sweat in. All right. The rest of him looks pretty good. He has nice business shoes. I have casual shoes. I would not wear this on an interview. I would wear a nice dress shoe like he does. The tie's not bad. I generally wear Jerry Garcia ties. I would never wear one of my Jerry Garcia ties on the interview. I would wear something, maybe a few stripes like his, or a plain tie. Nothing that screams out, hey, take a look at me.
Who is Jerry Garcia?
Jerry Garcia?
He's the guy
Ice cream.
Yeah, he's the maker of Jerry Garcia ice cream. Go on YouTube and check him out, The Grateful Dead. Do you ever hear The Grateful Dead?
My parents did.
Your parents did? You have good parents then. All right, ladies, what would you wear? Skirt or pants? Pants? It really doesn't matter nowadays. There are nice pantsuits you can wear. Years ago, it used to be a skirt. If you do wear a skirt, it's down to the knees, no shorter. Ladies, earrings, yes or no? Of course. What kind? Hoop earrings?
Big one.
Big ones? So if I had that little basketball I gave to you, I could take shots? No. If you're going to wear earrings, one per ear, studs, nothing dangly. They can distract the interviewer. If you're going to wear a necklace, wear something nice and simple. Okay? Guys, earrings, yes or no? No. I would say no. Go on to, you don't know if you're going to interview with somebody very conservative, so take them out. Take them out. If that interviewer is wearing an earring and you get a second interview, don't think it's okay because it's not. All right? You dress for success until you get that job. I went on, the last company I worked for, I was on an interview. They invited me for a second interview. And the woman asked me something very strange, I thought at the time. She said, do you mind interviewing on a Friday? I said, no, not at all. She said, well, Friday's our casual day. Anybody that you're going to interview with will either be in jeans or shorts. Feel free to dress casually. How do you think I dressed? Professionally, yes. So the interview was probably an hour and a half long. After the interview, they offered me the job. When she walked me out, she said, Ken, I'm so glad you dressed that way. If you would have dressed casually, we wouldn't have hired you. It was a test. So until you get that job, dress for success. Yes?
What's a soft stuff?
We're going to go over that. We're going to go over that. Right now, I just want to finish up with dress for success, and then we'll go there. So, again, dress for success. Be ready and neat, clean at all times. So you could go over these different steps on it. So he asked a great question. Let's soft sell. So let's go over some interview do's. All right? Dress successfully. We spoke that. Speak clearly. All right? There's nothing worse than somebody that's so soft-spoken that you have to lean in to hear what they say. Project your voice. Be truthful. Do not lie. If you lie and I catch you in a lie, you made life really easy for me. I'm not going to hire you. If you lie and I don't catch it and I hire you, don't think you got over. A lot of companies will do background checks on you for a year after you were hired. All right? I've seen people, the last company I worked for, we went through a massive hiring. I've seen people 6 months, 8 months down the road, HR came up to them and said, "Can I see you for a minute? What you said on your resume, we're finding out it's not true. Can you explain it?" And if you couldn't, you are automatic terminated. It's grounds for automatic termination, and because you were fraudulent, we could deny you unemployment. So don't lie. It's not worth it. You soft sell. He asked what soft sell was. Does anybody have an idea what it is?
Soft serve ice cream.
Almost. 2 for $1. No. Soft sell is, do you know anybody real cocky or arrogant? Okay? We all know people like that. All right, soft sell, there's a fine line between confidence and cockiness. Don't cross it. Soft sell is getting your point across in a confident manner, but not being cocky. You're using a soft sell, okay? Don't be cocky or arrogant. I once had a person that was so cocky, 15 minutes into the interview, he said, "Might as well stop the interviewing process." I said, "Why is that?" He says, "Because I'm the best you're going to meet." All right?
Donald Trump?
Even if you're Donald Trump. Donald Trump doesn't know what soft sell is. Maybe he should be in this presentation, okay? He was so cocky for the next 20 minutes. I had 2 options. Jump out of a second-story window, and I had a new suit on that day, so I wasn't going to do that, or get rid of him. I got rid of him. Don't be cocky. Don't promise things that you cannot deliver, okay? Be calm. Be professional at all times. I don't care who you're interviewing with. Be professional. I don't care if you know the person. I went on an interview once, and I knew a bunch of people who were there. But when I met the person, I was very professional. Even though I've known him for about 15 years, I acted like I didn't know him. Greeted him, introduced myself. Because if I would have said, "Hey, how's it going?" Gone to give him a high five, what if 5 other people saw me do that? They know I know him personally. All right? And if I got the job, why did he hire me? Because he knows me or because I could actually do the job? All right? So be professional. Once you get into the interview room, they'll dictate how the interview goes. Okay? Be ready for periods of silence. Don't ramble. Arrive on time. What time should I get there? If my interview is at 9 o'clock in the morning, what time should I get there? 8:50, 1:45? All right, I like both answers. All right, did you ever hear of Vince Lombardi? If you remember nothing else about this presentation, remember this. Vince Lombardi once said, "If you are on time, you are late. Arrive 10 to 15 minutes early." Why? Especially for an interview. Why do you want to arrive early?
Get ready. Get yourself ready.
How's that? What do you mean by that?
Try not to be nervous. Get there on time, or right on 9 o'clock. Get 9 o'clock and you make me nervous. I don't know. I try to get there early and
Okay.
get my head together.
So get yourself mentally prepared. All right. That's great because a lot of people are nervous, especially your first real interview. You're going to probably be nervous. Time to settle down. 9 o'clock in the morning is rush hour traffic. Think that might slow you up? All right, we're in beautiful weather right now. But what if it's winter and I go to bed and it's nice and dry and I wake up and there's 2 feet of snow on the ground? Think that might slow you up? Probably. Try to do, yes?
If there's snow on the ground, is it okay to cancel the interview?
Unless it's a really severe blizzard. We live in Buffalo. You should know how to drive in the winter. I would keep the interview. Unless it's a blizzard or they call you up or check the reports, see if they may be closed. All right? I would make the interview. All right? But be on time, guys. 10 to 15 minutes early, always. If you get there a half hour early, don't walk in a half hour early because now you're pushy. Go over your notes If you get there even earlier, maybe grab a cup of coffee, keep some mints in your car, pop a couple mints before you go in, and then go in 10 to 15 minutes early. All right? The interviewer may take you early. I used to do about 8 interviews in a day. So if you're early and I could take you early, it gives me time to maybe do something else. All right? You're on their time. They're not on your time. So think of the interviewer first. Be sincere. Act interested. That's my favorite. Act interested. There's nothing worse than wanting to check somebody for a pulse because you think they just died in your chair. Act interested. And I don't care if you're in there 15 minutes into the interview, you're saying, wow, there's no way I'm going to work for this idiot. That's fine. Stay on the interview. The more you do, the better you get. If you don't want to work for them and you know it, try answering a question a different way if you're used to answering a question one way. I did that once, and the guy looked at me and he said, wow, that's the best anybody's ever answered that question. So I knew to use that type of answer for companies that I actually wanted to work for. So use that as a testing thing. Be prepared. You said about being ready. Be prepared for the interview. You're going to do research on a company way before you get there. You're going to read about them. A friend of mine went on an interview, and the interviewer asked them, do you know where we were founded, where we started? He said he was like a deer in headlights. He couldn't answer it. Then they asked him another question. He couldn't answer. And the interviewer looked at him and said, look, you did no research on our company. If you would have even pulled our page up, that was on the front page of our website. You would have known about that. All right, so do some research on the company. Read up about them. That way you could ask some intelligent questions. You're going to take with you if you have a portfolio, you're going to take a portfolio with you. If not, at least a padfolio. In the padfolio, you're going to have about 6 copies of your resume, just in case it's a group interview. My daughter went on an interview a couple months ago. It was a group interview. And one of the interviewers looked at her and said, oh, I need to go back to my desk. I forgot your resume there. Really? You're an interviewer? Probably not. So she pulled up her portfolio, goes, here you go, I have an extra copy. Handed it to him. He just smiled. It was a test. In here, there's a pad of paper. Every interviewer is going to ask you, do you have any questions for me? If you say no, you seem disinterested. Have about 6 or 7 copies, 6 or 7 questions for that interviewer. All right, if you get a brain freeze because you're nervous and forget, there's nothing wrong with saying, actually, I did prepare some. Open it up, start asking, did I offend you?
I got a doctor's appointment.
Oh, okay.
My mom's picking me up in the office.
Very good.
It's great to meet you, though.
No problem. All right, so have that ready for you. You're going to take a planner with you, and we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. Be polite, smile. Look the interview in the eye, let them feel in control. But when it's time to ask questions, you now take control. It is your time to take control and ask some questions. Stress the contributions you can make. Tell me why I should hire you, what you can bring to my company. Use the interviewer's name during an interview. My name's Ken Bonico. What are you going to call me?
Mr. Monson.
Mister. I don't like Mister, but if I like you, I'm going to give you permission to call me Ken. And if you say Mr. again, I'll say, no, please call me Ken. If it's a female and you don't know, what are you going to call her? Ms.? Ms. could work. I actually heard that Ms. actually means somebody that was married before and then divorced. The best thing to do is when you meet the receptionist, ask the receptionist, oh, I have an interview with Jane Smith. Is that Ms., Mrs.? They'll tell you. Okay, so then use it. If it's doctor, for heaven's sake, call them doctor. Doctors have hang-ups about being called doctor. They work long and hard to get their doctorate, probably spend a lot of money. Call them doctor. If they're like my friend who earned his doctorate and hates being called doctor, it's like Mr. to him. He'll say, no, call me, and he'll give you his first name. I call him doctor all the time because it irritates him and I could get away with it. But use their title. Be a good listener. End the interview on a friendly note. Thank them for their time. It's their time, like I said, not yours. Thank them for it. Ask them for their business card. When you get out to the car or you get home, well, first of all, when you get out to the car, you should be taking your pad of paper and writing some notes about what you talked about on the interview. When you get home, send them a thank you letter. I can't tell you how many people don't send a thank you letter after an interview. recap, thank them for their time, recap some of your abilities, what you could bring to the table, and set yourself up for a second interview. Last one, ask for the job. Who would feel funny about asking for the job? Anybody? You guys aren't all that confident? Yeah, most people, and you normally don't on the first interview anyways. I stumbled on this some years ago. I was on an interview, and I had asked all my questions already, and I really liked this company. So at the end of the interview, she asked me, she says, do you have any more questions for me? And I said, yes, actually I do. I really like what you had to say about your company. I think it's very innovative and progressive. I know I can be an asset to your company because this, and this. I restated my qualifications. Then I looked at her real calmly and said, can we set up a second interview? One of two things are going to happen. Either you're going to catch them off guard and they're going to say, oh, no, we're going to interview more people next week. We'll start calling back in a week. And that's fine. Don't be offended by it. But at least you told them you are interested in working for the company and you want to continue on the process. Or what happened to me, she stayed quiet for about 10 seconds. 10 seconds doesn't seem like a lot of time, but when you first put yourself out there, 10 seconds of silence could feel like an eternity. And she finally looked at me, pulled out her planner, and she said, I liked what you had to say. Let's schedule it. So if I didn't have a planner with me, how do I know I'm free that day? Guys, I don't care if you have nothing scheduled the rest of your life. Act like you actually do have a life and have a planner with you. And you don't have to buy a real expensive one, but have a planner with you. And open it up and schedule it. I saw one of my students last year, and he was in the hallway, and he'd seen this presentation. He said, Ken, look at my planner. I'm like, okay. And I opened it up, and he had a couple of companies written down on it. I said, oh, it looks like you're keeping pretty busy. You have some interviews scheduled. He says, yeah, the stuff in pen is real. The stuff in pencil's fake. I just looked at him and started laughing. But he wanted to be able to put that planner down in front of that interviewer to see he was actually busy. Think about it. If you have an interview next Tuesday and I see it, I'm going to get you in before that other company if I really want to talk to you. God bless you. I'm going to get you in there before they have a chance to interview you again. So have that planner. If you have cell phones, who has their planners on cell phones? It's an interview process, guys. Your cell phones should stay in your car because if it rings during the interview, if I hear it vibrate during the interview, you're distracting me, okay? There's nobody that important that's going to call you during the interview that you need to take this phone call. And I don't care if you're expecting a call from the President of the United States. If you actually do have a phone call coming in from the President of the United States, you should probably be home waiting for the phone call, not on the interview, okay? Keep the phone in the car. I'd rather you buy a $6, $10 planner and have that with you, and then when you get out to the car, put it in your phone at that time, okay? I was talking to a chief of police, and he was telling me how he was on an interview with a prospective candidate, and the young man's phone went off. Somebody texted him. And without batting an eye, he pulls out his phone, goes like this. Says, okay, really? You just told that chief of police that your text was more important than interviewing with him. Leave the phone in the car. Needless to say, he didn't get hired, okay? All right, does anybody first, before I go on, have any questions for me as far as the interview process? Yes?
Is it true that employers look at your Facebook?
Thank you. I was going to bring that up. I was hoping something like that would come up. Yes, Facebook, social media can hurt you, A lot of companies, before you're even called for an interview, will check out what you have on Facebook or other social media sites. They're looking for, what kind of person you are. What do you have on your Facebook? People look, guys. People look. Anybody hear of FBLA, Future Business Leaders of America? They have a kickoff meeting every year, and do presentations for them. Their guest speaker they always had, after the last presidential election, he was from East Amherst originally. He was a Republican he's pretty much HR person. Anybody who went for higher up positions in the campaign went through him. First thing he pulled up was Facebook. Then he went through other social media sites looking. They don't want Donald the Democrats to find, look at what kind of scumbag they have working for them. Look what he had on his website. So at the end, he opened up for questions, and this girl up front said, "You'd have trouble with mine." He said, "Why is that?" He said, "Because mine's set on private." He just laughed. He said, "I'm the government. There's no such thing as private." All right? Think about it. If people could hack into Target and rob a bunch of credit card numbers, do you really think they can't get into your private Facebook? Seriously? So yes, watch what you have on social media. There's a store at the McKinley Mall. Once they go into the back room to interview you, first thing they do is say, "There's our computer, log on to Facebook." And this one girl from Frontier told me, "And if I don't," she said, "then the interview's over." All right? So watch what you have there. You don't know who's going to check, who's going to demand at you. Open it up. Be careful. Great question. Great question. Anybody else? Okay, when you first meet the interview, what do you do?
Shake hands.
Shake hands. Handshake important? Does anybody want to volunteer to come up and shake my hand? I won't bite, I promise. Come on up. Thank you, a brave soul. I even wipe off my hands. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Oh, very good. Nice firm handshake. She looked me eyeball to eyeball. Now pretend I'm a female and shake my hand. Oh, very nice. Thank you. Do we change the handshake up for a male or female?
Not as firm.
Why?
I feel like their hand would be smaller.
It might be bigger too. All right. Why else would we change, or do we not change? Who said no before? We don't change. We don't change. Handshake, hers was firm. She didn't crush my hand. I didn't crush hers. But it's firm. You don't want to crush somebody's hand. You don't want to crush my hand either. All right? Firm means firm. If you give somebody, a female, a light handshake, my ex-wife calls them the wet noodle handshake. Think of a piece of pasta nice and firm. You cook it and it goes, eh. If you give her one of those, you just insulted her. All right? She was born and raised in Germany. They are taught that a handshake shows character. So nice and firm. You don't have to crush somebody's hand. It's web to web. Can I borrow your hand for a minute? Don't do one of these handshakes. I call it the princess handshake. Okay? Hi, I'm a beauty queen. Don't do that. It's web to web, nice and firm. Great eye contact. Is eye contact important? Very important. Okay? She looked eyeball to eyeball. Even when somebody asks you a question, when you answer it, who hates staring somebody eyeball to eyeball? Nobody? Do me a favor. Look me eyeball to eyeball. Now look here. Look here. I can't tell the difference. Eye contact is not this. Yeah, you're going to freak somebody out, okay? Eye contact means when you ask me if I ever stole anything in my life.
Have you ever stole anything in your life?
No. What did I do?
When you start your feeling, your fingers and looking.
Great observation. What else?
You look down.
I look down. All right? If you look away, you're either lying or very unsure of your answer. So when you answer that question, be sure to look in that general direction, okay? Real fast, type of questions that are asked. First of all, a lot of people will ask you, tell me a little bit about yourself. Does anybody want to take a shot at that? Nobody wants to take a shot? Guys, you are expert matter on this. You know yourself better than anybody. You know yourself better than your parents. I have 2 daughters. I don't know everything about them. I don't want to know everything about them, else I won't be able to sleep at night. All right? So when you're telling somebody, when they say, tell me about yourself, tell me stuff that I want to know that would make me want to hire you, what kind of person you are, if you're a hard worker. A lot of students I run into will tell me, well, I like hanging out with my friends. Yeah, no kidding. Unless you're a hermit, everybody likes hanging out with their friends. I play football, and they leave it at that. Really? I played sports. I get it. Okay? If you're interviewing with somebody who never played a sport, was always chosen last on their team, they may think, wow, I have a dumb jock in front of me. That may be the furthest from the truth. But if you're going to put out something like I play football, say I played football, I was the captain of my team. Through that, I learned a lot of leadership skills. I helped younger players develop younger players. I learned to win. You have to play as a team. Just like in corporate America, you have to have good teamwork. So wow, what did you just tell me? You told me you're a leader. You told me you know how to work with people. You told me you know how to coach and train. Guess what? I want to hire leaders and team players. So bring stuff out like that I want to know about you. All right? Who wants to take a real easy question? What's the color of your house?
Blue.
Okay. Who wants to take another easy question? What's the color of your car?
White.
White. All right, these are answers that you could just spit out the answer. Do yourself a favor. Before you answer, take a breath. It's a calming factor. Then answer the question when you're ready. If you do that for the hard, easy questions, it'll come to second nature for the hard questions. All right? Take the breath, think about it, then answer. I once had a guy ask me a 3-part question, and I just looked at him like, oh my God. And I looked at him and I said, that's the best question anybody's ever asked me. I need a minute to think about it. And I sat there for silence, probably for at least 40 seconds. And when I was ready, then I started to answer. It stops you from doing the ums, the ahs, things like that. Then answer the question. It took me probably about 5 minutes to answer one question, but I was ready for it. A lot of people start jumping into the answer, and all of a sudden they'll stop in the middle of a sentence and say, I forgot where I was going. That's because they rushed into the answer. There's no rush into getting the answer. People are going to ask you some very generic questions that you can answer with 1 or 2 words. Elaborate on everything. It's tell me a story, tell me a story, tell me a story. What's your greatest strength? You better be able to let me know and expand on it. What's your greatest weakness? Don't say I don't have any weaknesses. Everybody has a weakness. Find a weakness. Maybe I have bad time management. We're not as interested in what your weakness is, but how you're trying to improve on it. So then tell me how you're trying to improve on it. So I took Vince Lombardi's method. Try to everywhere 10 to 15 minutes early. It allows me to focus more on what I have to do, mentally prepare myself, and get ready. Weakness, how you're going to try to improve on it. Other people are going to ask you some questions that they want to target to you and make you talk. Tell me about a time when you had conflict with somebody and how did you resolve it. Stop and think about it. Don't say I never had conflict with somebody. You don't have to have really bad exaggeration. Please don't say I took the guy out and beat him up in the back. It's not the answer. How did you resolve the situation? How did you talk about it? So think about it, get your thoughts together, then answer. Okay, do we have any more questions? Okay. All right, so I want to talk to you a little bit about Bryanton Stratton College. They pay me to come out here, so I want to get you here for a minute. We're a private college. We're very small. We have 3 campuses locally. We have one in Amherst, downtown Buffalo, and one in Orchard Park. All right, we do that for a reason. We want our class small. Think about it. Most people who come to our come to our college from Buffalo, go to our Buffalo campus. Southtowns, Amherst. So what that does to you, instead of having these classrooms of 130 plus, I'll get 130 plus, our normal classroom size is anywhere from 12 to 18 students. We have a lot of individual attention. A lot of, people know who you are. Your instructors know you by name. Okay? What I handed out to you, if you'd do me a favor and fill this out, I look at what you're interested in. So the left side is really tell me a little bit about yourself. Okay? If you're planning on going to college, if you're going into the military, if you're going to go into the workforce. The right side are programs we have to offer. If you're interested in any of them, mark it down. I'll get you information. The other thing is, if you would do me a favor, this is what's really near and dear to me, and I'm going to talk while you do this. On the bottom left, there's this empty space here. If you could please tell me what you thought of today's workshop. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you learn something? That way I can improve myself as a presenter, or if you feel I'm missing something, I could add it in for the future. So tell me a little bit about yourself. Now, I encourage you all to visit. If you would like to visit, mark it down. No matter where you go, visit a bunch of colleges. See what's good for you. Some of you might like the big open campuses. Other of you might like the small individual attention, which we do. We have tri-semesters, so you're going to have a September start, January start, and a May start. Jumping ahead of myself. So with that, you could get your degree done a lot faster. Okay, we have bachelor's and associate programs. One of our new programs is the physical therapist assistant, which we're really proud of and excited for that to kick off. But also, if there's not a program or if you're undecided, you could come in and we do a career mapping, help you find out what you're interested in, talk about it. We also have a program called Jumpstart for juniors and seniors, which you could take a free college class. All you have to do is pay for the books. It's a good way to say you're interested in criminal justice, take a criminal justice programs class, see if you like it. And if you decide it's not for us, you might want to, for you, then you might want to try a different one. Okay? Come and visit. We welcome you to sit in on classes if you would like. It's not a problem. If anybody is interested in applying, I also have some easy apps to go through. I could give you an application you could fill out right now. Actually, if you're filling out that card, I'd have to have your name and phone number and a signature on it, and I'll fill in the rest and get it back in contact with you, or we could set up an appointment right now. Yes, you sure may.
What was the survey? What did you say about it?
No, I said on the bottom left in the empty space there, if you could tell me a little bit about what you thought of my presentation. Did you like it? Did you hate it? They used to have that on the form. They took it off, but I think that's, for me as a presenter, that's some great information, great feedback.
I'm not interested in gratis straps. I'm not filling out.
That's absolutely fine. It's absolutely fine. But I encourage you to, but if you don't want to, that's fine. What I found is a lot of students know where they're going. Every April and on, we have students that say they weren't interested in, and all of a sudden they're contacting us. Or we call them and say, yeah, I changed my plans. Also, my name and phone number and email address is on those papers I handed out to you. Feel free to contact me at any time. I have my work phone. My emails go right to my phone. It's on pretty much 24/7. So I'll be happy to get back with you.
Okay, I'll do it.
Why, thank you.
Okay, I sent my application, now what?
When would you like to come in? We generally like you to come in with a parent or guardian.
This is the easy application, I thought I was like already a student.
Not already a student, there's an application process just like everybody does. Plus, as I stated earlier in the presentation, we interview all of our prospective students. But I'd like you to come and take a tour of the campus, see what we have to offer, how our classrooms are, sit down with you and your parent or guardian, just in case they have any questions. So much easier. And we like doing them one-on-one. That way when we do groups, a lot of people are afraid to ask questions.
Do you have nursing?
We don't have nursing. We have in a couple different states that we're in, we do have nursing. Here we have medical assisting. It's right below a nurse, medical administrative assistant. And like I said, we have the PTA, physical therapist assistance program.
You know what, I'm not sure my mom will come with me.
Well, that's fine. If we can't get a parent or guardian, we'll get you in later on. We will need some information from her. But I'd like to have a parent or guardian just in case they have any questions. And
Try, I don't know.
that is fine.
So that, should I bring this with me?
I will collect it from you.
Okay.
So if you're done filling those out, I'll collect it. If anybody wants to set up an interview now, is there a better time and date that you'd like to come in?
I think, she doesn't work late on Thursday, so I think like Thursday around 5 o'clock would be good.
That is great. We'll set it up right now. It is very hot in here.
We're here all day.
Yeah. See, Kevin's used to, I have a fan at my desk blowing on me all day. And he hates when I crank up the air conditioning. Oh, yes, yes. Thank you. That's why I went first, because